ahead and start. So let's start sitting, but in a zigzag position. So
Crazy.
zigzag asana, yeah. Doesn't matter which side is in front, but it's a zig and a zag.
And we're muting now.
Oh yes, please, thank you. If you're on Zoom, go ahead and mute yourself. And then press your hands behind you and sit up. Whatever leg is the back leg, that hip will be off the floor. Yeah. So a few options here. Some of you will go more towards the shin in front. And some of you will opt more towards the thigh, which is more of a twist. And the going towards the shin is more of a stretch for the outer hip. So you decide, or you could try both and see what you like. And once you decide on your shape, create a little bit of movement with breath. So as the inhale happens, create a little bit of a lengthening and a little bit of a lift. And then on the exhale, maybe you come a little bit further forward and soften downward. So just take a few breaths like this and don't do anything too extreme. We're just barely getting started here. Depending on the shape that you've entered into, once you've kind of settled there, option to take a small little rock, kind of a side to side. Sometimes that feels nice to ease into it a little more. And then whatever you've done will gradually come on out. Sit yourself upright. Let's change the zigzag to second side. And then for me, this is the awkward side. Press down into the floor behind you, sit up really, really tall. And then you decide if you're going more towards the shin or more towards the thigh. So again, that's up to you. And once you decide that, on the inhale, create a little lift, a little lengthening. And on the exhale, a little bit more of a folding. Let it be a gradual process. Maybe you start to sink in a little lower, maybe you don't. And then once you feel like you're in a good spot here, it might feel interesting to take a tiny little side to side. Do that if you like. When you're ready to come out of this, very gradually bring yourself upright. Let's undo the legs and just jiggle them out for a second. And then we'll come into a seated, any shaped position. I'm going to take cross-legged, so you could join me there or sit on your shins or legs out long, whatever feels good. So give yourself just a little bit of a wobble from side to side. And as the wobbling starts to settle, whatever is meeting the floor, just allow it to drop down and almost imagine that you could grow roots. And from those roots growing down, allow yourself, the spine, the torso, the crown of the head to lift nice and tall. And if it feels okay to close your eyes, go ahead and do that now. And just give yourself a few moments to settle. Check in with your body. Check in with your state of mind. I'll ask you the question, what brought you here today? What do you hope to receive from your practice? That, allow the head to bow down, allow your eyes to blink open. And we'll bring the head back up to the center here. Let's take the arms out to the side and up. And over to the right for a side bend. Yeah. Any depth is fine. There are a couple different ways you could do it. Let's come back up and then go to the second side. And then come back up. We'll do it again, but this time interlace your fingers. Press up through the palms. Go to the right with this version. Stay over here on the right and turn the chest a little bit more towards the ceiling. And then bring yourself up over to the left. Stay over there and just add in that slight little turn, little rotation. Yeah, inhale it up, undo the hands. Give the wrists some circles to bring the arms down. And once you get there, bring the fingers on the shoulders. And let's give the shoulders, elbows some circles, little bat wings. Yeah, and take a couple the other direction. You guys, it's almost Halloween. I'm excited, but a little bit sad, you know. I'm probably gonna have to do my Halloween party on Zoom this year, which could be fun, and you know, more people can come. All right, release the arms. Let's stretch the legs out in front and just give the legs any sort of movement, just to wiggle them out a little bit. And we'll reconvene the hands and knees position, finding your all fours. And we will be there for a little bit if you want to have any sort of padding under the knees. Take time to set that up. The floor is kind of hard, it might feel better. Yeah. And then for the moment, just start to move your spine any which way. That might involve bending the elbows. It might involve bringing the hips back like a child's pose. Or forward, kind of like a easy up dog. Just take anything here. And then we'll press back, go to child's pose. Stay here and take spider fingers in your hands. So let the wrists lift and the palms of the hands lift. So you're on the fingertips. And give that a little squeeze actually with the fingers so that the palms are engaged, the forearms are engaged. And set the hands back down, return to your all fours position. We'll stretch the right leg back with the toes tucked under. Just give yourself a little back and forth. A bit of movement here. And then let's pause, keeping the leg back, broad on the collarbones. Engage and lift up a little bit through the belly. And then notice here with the right leg back, the right half of the pelvis has a tendency to pull back as well. Can you pull the right half of the pelvis a little bit forward for a second? Keep that, and then let the right leg lift up off the floor. When we lift the leg, the back will want to arch. Can you keep the belly lifted, keep your spine in neutral, and just hold for a second. And then we'll release. And change sides. Left leg back, toes tucked under, giving yourself a little motion for a second. And then let's pause. Draw the left half of the pelvis a little bit forward. And without the spine or the low back drooping down towards the floor, start to float the leg up just to hip height, and we'll hold that position. Great, release. And let's go back to child's pose again. This time flip your hands over, curl the fingers in and out, maybe give the hips a little wobble from side to side. And then from here, we'll reset coming to the belly. Take your time to get down there. Once you have arrived, scooch the legs back and down to clear some room for the front of the hips. We'll bend the right knee, but don't reach for the foot. Just bend the knee as is. And then in this position, don't let the pelvis leave the floor. Don't let the right hip lift up as you lift up the right knee and the right thigh. Yeah, it's not gonna go high. You'll feel some engagement through the right glutes, maybe the hamstring. And then relax and do that a few times more on the right side. So a little lift and lower. Doesn't look like much, but there's stuff going on. And then we'll pause for a second in the lifted position. Yeah? Keep the thigh a little bit lifted and start to straighten out the right leg. And that'll engage the hamstring, eccentric muscle contraction. Hold that for a sec. And then lower yourself down, take a little wiggle. We'll do the left side. So bending up the left knee, reach the knee towards the back of the mat, and without letting the left half of the pelvis lift off the floor, lift the left thigh. And down. Do that a few times up and down, nice and slow. And let's pause next time you're in the up position. Keep it a little lifted and start to straighten out the leg, keeping the leg elevated off the floor. And then release. So a little side to side, wiggle that out. Press yourself back, coming to downward facing dog. And we'll just be there for a little bit, adding some movement in the legs just to stretch out the legs. You can pedal, you can shift, you can lift a leg or lift the heel, whatever you want to do. All right, friends, and we're headed back to our all fours position. So come on down again. Reset your blanket if you're using one. Let's broaden the collarbones, lift up through the belly, and then from here, let the right leg, keep the knee bent, but lift the right leg a little bit off the floor. So the right knee is still close to the left knee. And feeling how that engages the core when you lift up the leg just a little bit. Now take the right knee out to the right side without shifting the pelvis to the left. And then reset. Do that 2 more times the same way. Abduction of the leg. Yeah. And then let's pause next time the knee comes in. It's still off the floor. Bring the knee forward. Take it out to the side and then back. So we're drawing a circle. Do a couple in that direction. See if you can minimize the movement of the torso and the pelvis. You're not just flopping around everywhere. Let's hold. Next time the knee is out to the side. Maybe this is it. Maybe you either go light on the left hand or lift the left arm. Anything you want to do with it is fine. Yeah, yoga skydiving. Now stay here. Notice, is the left hip swinging off to the side? Can you pull the outer left hip in? Oh, down we come, rest. That one's harder than it looks, isn't it? Go back to child's pose. Yeah. And then just take anything here. Wobbles, finger stretches, whatever you want. It's so good to do that though. Let's go back and do the other side. So come on up. And then once you're set, hover the left knee just a little bit off the floor, keeping it more or less in the same place. Now we'll start to just take the knee out to the side, but don't let the right hip swing right. And then return to center. Do a couple of those. Cool. Now, indeed, you might feel this on the standing leg on the right hip. And you might notice one side is stronger than the other, or weaker than the other. Next time you're back in the starting position, let's bring the knee forward, out to the side and back, taking a couple of circles, but trying not to let the whole torso wobble around. Let it be as much about the stable part of you as it is about the moving part of you. Pause next time the knee is out to the side. Already, notice if the right hip is swinging wide, bring it in. If you want to add in the right arm, go ahead and either lighten up or lift it. And one more time, pull the outer right hip in. I can hardly talk. Oh, okay, enough. Release the arm, release the leg. Child's pose. I'm going to do this one with the toes tucked under. If you want to try that, you can. Oh. And then we'll give the poor legs a break for a second. Let's come forward and down again onto the belly. Scooch the legs one at a time back and down. And then we'll prop up actually on the forearms. Start with the elbows a bit ahead of the shoulders, and you can either stack the hands or interlace the hands. Press down through the forearms and try to drag the arms back towards your chest and drag the chest forward towards your hands. And then we'll back off. Do that a couple of times. Now in this sort of movement pattern, we're trying to mobilize and engage the upper back and kind of leave the lower back alone. If you're feeling any sort of pinching or tension in the lower back, I would take the arms further forward and don't go up as high. Think of more of a pulling than a lifting. Yeah. All right, friends, let's come down, fold your hands, rest the forehead on the hands, bend your knees and just give the legs a little swish back and forth. All right, we'll put the legs back down. Let's head into downward facing dog again. Take your time to get there. And once you do, for this version, let's separate the feet a bit wider than you normally go, about as wide as the mat. Bend both knees, press the mat forward, press the tops of the thighs back. And at the very tops of the thighs, press wide. So you're going away from the midline. Now, if you do that quite a bit and you look back, you might see the knees widen and the ankles bow out. Can you hug the ankles in enough so your feet align, but not more than that? And then if in doing so, hopefully the knees realign. Let's re-lengthen the legs. From the back of the knee to the back of the heel, reach towards the floor. You may or may not actually get there. And then let's bend the knees a little bit again. Walk the hands back, heading to the back of the mat. Prop yourself up, forearms to the thighs. Move the pelvis back, move the chest forward. Lengthen out through this torso. And then let's put the left hand to the hip. And imagine there's a bungee cord between the navel and the right foot. So keeping that connection, navel and the right foot. Start to turn the chest to the left without going so far that the bungee cord breaks. Yeah. Let's do this with breath. Inhale, turn the chest parallel to the floor. On the exhale, turn the chest left, but keep the navel going towards the right foot, which will hopefully engage the oblique muscles. Back to center. Do one more time. And then undo, other side. Right hand to the hip, navel to the left foot. And then turn open the chest to the right. You're not going to go too far. Let's add the breath to this. Inhale to center. And exhale to turn, keeping the navel going towards the left foot. All right. And then bring yourself down. Just forearms to thighs. Press into the feet. Use the inhale to come all the way up here. Lift the arms, lengthen the legs. Oh, yeah, these release the arms. Let's stay kind of wide, bend the knees, just wiggle a little bit. Okay, friends, so we'll stay at the back of the mat. Reset your stance so the feet are about hips width distance apart. Let's bring the hands onto the hips. Bend your knees, and when you bend the knees, bring the hips back. Yeah, you don't have to go too low, up to you. And then let's reset your hands so the thumbs are in the hip crease in the front and the fingers are kind of on the sides. Feel what happens when you press the tops of the thighs wide. I'm hoping you feel a little firming sensation on the side of the hips. Keep that. And in your feet, press down a little more through the ball of the big toe. Keep that and sink back a little deeper if you're able. Yeah. So let's stay in the chair pose. Reset your hands. Hands just come to prayer. And now feel what happens when you shift your weight a little to the left. And you see how now the back of the left leg turns on? Yeah. Jill's like, yes, I do. And then over to the right. And now the back of the right leg turns on. Can you recreate that in both legs at the same time? So resetting your chair here. Weight is even between the 2 feet. Awesome. Let's take another breath in. Exhale, let it go, forward fold, lifting the hips, dropping the torso. After that, it might feel good to wiggle her out a little bit. If you can't reach the floor and dangling doesn't feel good, put the arms on the legs so that you have a little bit of support. All right, friends, let's everybody take a halfway lift. And then we're coming down, hands to the floor, walk forward until you get to plank. And if you need to do something other than plank, just do that on your own. Once you're in plank pose, can you broaden the collarbones and counter that by lifting up through the low belly? Yeah. Imagine the backs of the legs, the hamstrings just going wider across and back. Great, let's put the knees down. Come all the way down to the belly. Yeah, just take a second, little wiggles if you like. And then from here, just like we did before, but we're gonna add on something. Let's bend the right knee and try to lift the right thigh without lifting the pelvis. Yeah, and just hold that for a second. You'll keep the knee bent, but relax the lift. And then reach back and find the foot or the ankle with the right hand, just coming into more of a quad stretch. Yeah. Now up to you, you can let this be more of a passive, just kind of relax here. Or if you want to try that lift again, try that out and at the same time draw the navel forward towards the front of the mat. And for some of you, that'll give you a deeper quad stretch. Some of you, you won't like it, so take it or leave it. And then release, back and side. So bend the left knee, first just leave it there, and then try to lift the thigh without moving, without lifting the pelvis. Hold for a sec. Yep, and then relax, keep the knee bent, reach back, find the foot if you can, or use a prop if you can. And then your choice, you could stay here and just kind of relax into the stretch. That's the version I would recommend if you're really, really tight in the quads. If not, and you want to try the other one, try the thigh lift again, and at the same time, draw the navel forward towards the front of the mat. Yeah. All right, release, wiggle a little bit. We'll press back for a brief child's pose and then come back to all fours position. Yeah. Okay, friends, so from your all fours position, let's broaden the collarbones, lift a little bit through the low belly, the low ribs, bring your knees a little bit closer than you normally would have them, just for this one. Closer to each other, yeah. And then you'll bend the right knee more so that the foot lifts up off the floor. A little bit similar to what we just did on the belly. Draw the knee back, keeping it bent, and don't let the pelvis turn open to the side. Yeah. And then just lower down about halfway to the floor and lift up again. Keeping the knee bent. Do that again, and then let the heel come a bit away from the buttocks, but still the knee is bent. And you'll just do like a little pulse up and down. Now this is an opportunity for the low back to want to collapse. Can you keep the belly lifted to support the low back from the front? And then pause, lower the knee a little bit, and then rotate the right leg out to the right, but not max capacity, maybe about halfway. If you're familiar with dance, this is similar to the attitude position, if you know what that is. And then we'll do the lift and lower here. Yeah. So again, it's not all the way rotated out. It's about maybe 45 degrees. And then let's just hold in the up position. Yeah. Okay, one more thing on this side. Let's turn the pelvis towards the floor, stretch the leg back, put the toes on the floor, and then turn the heel down, turn the chest open and lift. It's like a knee down Vashisthasana. Yeah. From this position, let's lift the straight leg up off the floor, press outward through the heel, and then you'll lower a little bit without side bending, and then lift again. So up and down. Sometimes I'll do this and we'll go into a C curve in the spine, but let's just keep the spine in neutral. Good. And then pause in the up position. And we'll release. Arm and the leg come down. Take a little break, child's pose. If you want to add a little movement, absolutely fine. Let's do a quickie spider fingers up on the fingertips. And then the hands come down. We'll reset all fours position. Broaden the collarbones, lift the belly, knees come closer to each other. And then you'll bend the left knee more so the foot lifts up off the floor and without the pelvis twisting or turning. Send the knee back and lift. And then lower a little bit. Take the heel slightly more away from the buttock and then go up again. Yeah, up and down like a little pulse without letting the spine do a cat-cow. Keep the spine stable. Let that be more important than the movement. Stability. Good. Next time you're in the slightly lower down position, stay. Rotate the leg a little bit more out to the left, external rotation, but not max capacity. And then we go up and down with this new position, just getting into a different section of the glutes. Great. All right, let's pause. Turn the pelvis, de-rotate the leg, stretch the leg back, heel eventually comes to the floor. Turn the chest open, lift the left arm. Just pause here. And then lift the left leg up off the floor. Press outward through the heel. And then lower a little bit and lift a little bit. Do that a few times up and down. Try not to let the spine do a big side bend here. Keep the spine in neutral the whole time. And then that's it. We'll release, come back down. Child's pose or anything else that feels restful for you. Now that was a long time on one side. We'll come back to downward dog. Once you get there, take your feet wide again and let's turn the legs in slightly. Internal rotation, think of a pigeon toe. Bend the knees, keep them bent, press the mat forward, send the hips back. At the tops of the thighs, press wide apart. Counter that in the feet, hug the ankles in just enough so that the weight's even across the ball of the foot. Stay here with the knees bent, you can straighten out the legs, your choice. And then from here, friends, let's de-rotate the legs just so toes point straight ahead. Up to you if you want to bring the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands. Let's bend the knees, come all the way up to stand. And release the arms. I was thinking of the next thing. Yeah, let's take a little hula hoop asana. And then other direction. So So from here, we'll do some things starting at the front of the mat. And if you have blocks, I'll recommend setting them up just so they're available to you. I keep changing which is the front of the mat, but it doesn't matter. All right, so let's start hands to the hips. We've been here before. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, but don't go super duper low. Utkatasana. Now from here, can you widen through the upper thighs? Press down through the ball of the big toe. Shift a little bit to the left without letting the left hip swing out to the side. Now I'll show what that would look like if the hip swings to the side. We don't want that. Just the weight shifts a little left. And then from here, lift the right heel. Some of you will stay here. It's a lot of work for the standing leg. If you're feeling like this is no big deal or you want more, you can stretch the right leg out forward and just barely tap the toes on. Yeah, or you can kind of change your mind at any time. Now from here, arms. Let's stretch the arms forward and then plug them in. Yeah, maybe this is it. Or maybe you take the arms up on the diagonal. Oh, no, that's pretty horrible, isn't it? Yeah. All right. In a second, we'll do normal chair pose. Slide the right foot back and just be even. So easy after that other one, isn't it? Inhale. On the exhale, down we go, forward fold. Take a halfway lift. Bring yourself down, and then let's take the right leg back for lunge pose. Hands on something. Yeah. Now we just did a lot of work on the left side, and we're going to do more. So take a second if you want to bend and straighten or wiggle a little bit, just to stretch it out for a moment. And then let's pause with the front knee bent. Bend the back knee as well, not deeply, just a little bit. And we'll start actions on the back leg. So press into the ball of the foot and try to press the foot back. And in doing so, you might feel the back of the leg and the glute turn on the right side. Now on the left side, press the heel down into the floor and try to press the heel forward. Yeah, so the front heel is pressing forward, the back foot is pressing back, and the legs are solid at this point, hopefully. Maybe the arms come up. You can do anything you want with the arms. You can move them around, you can hold them still. Okay, from here, let's put the arms down. Just take a little break for a second. If you want to add in a little movement, you can. And then from here, rebend the front knee, rebend the back knee not too deep. Same actions, back toes press back, front heel presses forward. Firm up around the belly. Bring the hands to the hips. Bend the back knee a little deeper as you start to hinge your way up.
I don't like that anymore.
No, it's pretty horrible. And you might not go all the way up, that's fine. Lower yourself back down, hop. From here, step the back foot forward. Root down through the legs, inhale, we're up. I'm sweating bullets, if you wonder, just wiggle around a little bit. Yeah, it's funny, a lot of the slower stuff is way harder, isn't it? Yeah, okay friends, we gotta even them out. You don't want one to be like bigger than the other, right? That'd be weird.
Like the most smaller.
You like feel this out. Okay, so here we are, hands to the hips. Let the knees bend, let the hips come back, and you know where we're going at this point, so pace yourself. Let's first widen through the upper thighs, root down through the ball of the big toe. Now find that stability. And then first, maybe just lift the left heel. If that's feeling fine and you want to add on, you can take the leg forward, straight leg, but don't put a lot of weight on it. Notice if the right hip swung out, and can you bring the outer right hip in? Yeah, if you're still with me, take the arms forward. Draw the head of the arm bone back, and then maybe come up on the diagonal. Oh, yogis. Now, if you start to lose it, you can just slide the foot back in a little bit. No big deal. This is my weaker side today. All right, friends, we're coming back to normal chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Take the left leg back and give yourself a moment. Any kind of movement to the right leg, back and forth. Any shifting, whatever you want to do. And then let's pause with the front knee bent. Bend the back knee too, but just a little bit for the first round. On the back foot, press the ball of the foot down and draw back. On the front foot, press the heel down and press forward. Yeah, from there, the legs are fired up. Maybe the arms lighten. Maybe they stretch back, forward, wiggle, whatever you want to do with the arms. Keep this stability in the legs. And then come down for a moment. Just relax. You want to move again, you can. Let me go into this last little piece. Let's keep the front knee bent. Bend the back knee and go a little deeper in the bend. Back foot presses back, front heel presses down and forward. Keep that. Bring the hands up onto the hips and then start to bring your torso up, and it might not go very far. Oh, smoking. It's smoking. Okay, friends, down we come. Oh, step the back foot forward. Inhale all the way up, lift. Exhale, release the arms. Yeah, let's take the loops. And then go the other direction. Ah, yogis. All right. So let's stretch this out a little before we do the next part. I think we did this, I did this with you recently. Some of you were here, some of you weren't. If you have blocks, I'll recommend blocks. If you don't, we'll get by a wall or some furniture. And then we'll bend the knees a little bit. Cross, let's do left side first. Left ankle over the right thigh, coming into the figure 4 position here. And then start to bring the hips back. Yeah, try not to tuck the pelvis under. And then if the blocks are available, grab them. If they're too low, you can make a block tower. You need to do that.
I'm keeping my up foot flexed.
Yeah, let's keep the lifted foot flexed. And then depending on your setup, if you're able to walk the arms and the upper body to the right, do that. If that's not possible, just stay where you are. And that should give a little pull right where we were working. And the stretch is more intense if you've just worked it, isn't it? Yeah, you guys. Okay, undo. Abort, come down. Stand up for a second. Just give a little, yeah. Okay, side two. Bend the knees, come down. Right one crosses over. Keep the foot flexed and active as you bring the hips back and bend the front knee deeper. Don't let the pelvis tuck under like that, yeah? You can bring the hands down if you have something available. If you're on the wall, you can put the hands on the wall. Oh, this is funny. This was the weaker side, but it's also the tighter side.
Right there with the system.
Yeah, okay. And then hands might go to the left if that's available for you. So Svadhyaya is self-study. Yeah, it's one of the things we practice in yoga, self-study. I'm always wondering about myself. Which side is stronger, which is weaker, what's going here, what's going there. All right, undo, back to center. Oh, release that. And up we come to stand. Yeah, yogis, just move around a little bit. Ah, so good. So from here we will, now I have two plans. I'm not sure. Let's do this one first and then we'll go back to the other one. So we'll do warrior two and side angle. And let's start in the middle of your mat like so. Yeah, separate your feet wide. And I'm gonna mirror you guys. So let's go this direction first. Turn your right leg in, turn the left leg out. And before we bend the front knee, on the back foot, pretend the edge of the foot was against a wall. And you're pressing both down into the floor and back into your imaginary wall. And in doing so, I'm hoping kind of the side outer hip turns on a little bit.
So my heel is over the wall.
So the kind of so the wall is like a diagonal. Just imagine, yeah. And then you're pressing the heel down, and you're also pressing the outer foot down and out. Yeah. And then don't do. Put your right hand here on the side of the hip. Go again, press down and out, and you feel a little bit of a firming sensation there. It might be kind of deep and it might be kind of subtle. Let's keep that. Bend the front knee. And then go ahead just for a second, lift the front heel. Bend a little bit deeper and then bring the heel down. Now on the back leg, we're pressing fairly firmly. On the front leg, do light. Press the heel down into the floor and just a little bit press outward, forward. Just a little bit, don't do too hard. Yeah, solid legs, huh? All right, let's take your back arm, that's the right arm. Take it kind of up on the diagonal and do a stop in the name of love. And that'll help bring the torso more aligned. And then let's take the front arm and just go normal arm position. So see if when we create this stability and solidity in the lower body, can you find some lightness and freedom in the upper body? All right, from here, let's back off a little bit, hands to the hips, and a couple of times do a little tilt in the pelvis. Yeah, like a disco. And then let's stay in the tilted state. One more time on the back foot, press down and out. Now let me say this, if you overdo it in the foot, you'll feel like a strain in the kind of the outer ankle. If that's happening, press down a little more in the ball of the big toe and see if that eases up. Now let's take the front arm, which would be the left arm, stretch it out with the palm facing up, firm in through the belly. If you're feeling okay to add on, you can take the right arm up with no hands. If that's no good for you, just keep the right hand to the hip or take a different arm position. Yeah, yogis. So strong. And then press into both heels and use that to come back up to center. Release your arms. Let's parallel the feet. Bring yourself just in for a second. We'll take a little break before side 2. Yeah, just move around. Oh, okay. Anything you want to say? No, let's do side 2. So step wide. Hands to the hips. Left leg turns in a little bit. Right leg turns out. And then on the back leg, let's press down and out. Yeah, and you might feel that firm up a little bit. Keep that. Bend the front knee, and at first, let the heel lighten a little bit. It might lift, it might just lighten. Yeah. Then once you're in position, let the heel come down. Don't push down hard, but give a light little pressure down and a light push out forward. Good. Keep that. Keep what's going on in the back leg. Let's take the back arm and do a stop. Pull back. Pretend you're pressing the hand into a wall. Yeah. Jill, you look like you're doing some kind of cool dance here. All right, let's take the other arm out and just go now classic arms. Yes, solid legs, which will hopefully give you a little bit more freedom in the upper body. All right, friends, back off a little bit, hands to the hips, and let's take the tilt in the pelvis, just back and forth. Look at this go. And then we're gonna stay in the tilted state. Find your back leg again, press down and out through the heel. Let that guy firm up. Right arm comes out, palm up, let the core firm, and then maybe the left arm comes up too. If that's not working for you, forget about it. Yeah, or take any other arm position. Yes, on the inhale, we come back up. We'll parallel the feet. Bring yourself back together. Yeah, let's take a moment. Oh, okay. So while we're in this mode, we'll do half moon pose. And if you have blocks, let's set up the blocks at the back of the mat, one on the right, one on the left. Which way did we go first? This way. Yeah, let's go that way again. So take the feet out wide. Same pose we did. So the right leg turns in, the left leg turns out. This is the first way we went. Okay, and my rights and lefts get messed up a lot. So here we are. We're here now, so this is what we're doing. Let's go ahead and bend the front knee. Keep the hands to the hips and tilt. And then find your block in the left hand if you're using the block. I'm going to be specific about this, and it's going to be really annoying. Take the arm forward, take the back leg in, but don't lift it. Keep the front knee bent. Hug the outer left hip into the midline. Go onto the right big toe. Left knee stays bent. Right leg lifts up and down. And up and down. Up and stay up. Press out through the heel. Maybe start to go straighter in the standing leg. Oh yeah. Pretend on the lifted leg you're pressing into your wall with the foot. Yeah. Maybe the chest turns a little more open. Maybe the top arm lifts. To get out, friends. Bend the standing knee, glide your way back, and then up we come. Oh, okay. Side 2. Change the legs around. Hands on the hips. And then from here, agonizingly slow. We bend the right knee. Tilt the torso over, right hand on your block. You'll reach the arm out and bring the back leg in, but don't lift it. Front knee stays bent, standing leg. And then the back leg, the left leg, up and down. Do that a few times. Gluteus medius, yeah? Right there. Next time the leg is up, stay. Pretend you had a wall that you could stamp the foot into. Slowly start to lengthen the standing leg. Optional add-ons here are to turn the chest away from the floor. Maybe the left arm lifts. Yeah, yogis. Nice work. Let's bend the standing knee. Glide your way out. And up back to center. Awesome. Parallel your feet. Bring yourself back together. And just take whatever you need for a moment. Okay. I had so many things that I'm running out of time, but I'm still going to do this last little bit. So let's reset, orient towards the front of the mat. Now have your blocks handy. Let's have hands to hips. Shift your weight to the left side and bend the right knee, lift the right leg. Let's take hands to prayer. Bend the left knee and hinge, keeping both knees bent. And then come back up to center. Yeah, I think it was good to give the glute a little break before you work it again. Go again. And back to center. Now this next time we stay, if you have blocks, put the hands on the blocks. If you don't have blocks, put your hands on the left thigh. Yeah. Now from here, let's keep the right knee bent. Don't let the pelvis turn open, but raise the knee up. Yeah? And then back off a little bit. One more time, lift the knee up. Keep it up. Press out through the heel to straighten out the leg. Before you straighten the left leg, press the top of the left thigh back. And then press into the heel to lengthen the leg. Firm up through the core. If you wish here, any arm variation, you could take one arm back, one arm forward. Hands to prayer, hands to the sky, whatever you want. To get out, let's step the feet down side by side. See, not so bad. And then bring yourself up to stand. Oh, yeah. Great. Last side. Last side. So, here we go. Shift over to the right. Bring the left knee up, hands are in prayer. Inhale. Exhale, we hinge. Bend both knees. This is just one for nothing. And then up we come to center. Come back down. Keep the knee bent, both knees bent, and then either find the blocks or your hands on the top of the right thigh. Then from here, without the pelvis turning open, lift the left knee. Yeah. And then keep it lifted. Let's press out through the heel. Start to straighten out the leg. Yes, that's work for the hamstring. And then the standing knee is still a little bent. Can you press the hip crease back? Let the outer right hip hug in, and then go straighter in the leg. Once you've arrived here, if you want to add in any arm things, bells and whistles, whatever feels good or interesting, let it be all about the stability and solidity in the legs.
Also, yoga, skydiving.
Skydiving yoga. Down come the arms, down come the legs. Oh, yogis, up we come, stand. Yes, we made it. We made it. That was our last standing pose. Yay. All right, let's come down. I'll face you here. We'll come down to sit. And we'll take a twist. Let's bend the left knee with the knee down on the floor. Right knee bent up. And depending on your body, maybe the bottom knee can scooch in and the top foot can cross over. If you can have both sitting bones making contact with the floor or a prop, if you're up on a blanket, do it that way. If not, take the open version. Yeah, we'll go this direction. Take your right hand behind you. Press down into the floor, sit up really, really tall. Inhale. And then on the exhale, let the chest turn more to the right. Every inhale, you'll lose some of the twist and regain some length. And every exhale, you'll lose some length and go deeper into the twist. Friends, from here, Let's undo the twist. Keep your legs, just lean over for a second to the other side, little counter twist. And then bring yourself back up. If the foot was crossed over, unhook. And then if you can, bring your arm to the inside of the right knee and the hand on the outside of the foot. If you can't reach like that, just hold wherever you've got. Take some circles. And let it be kind of lazy, free movement, just anything goes. Playtime for the leg. And let's pause here. Root down through the sitting bones, lift up through the chest. Try to draw the shin across and either hold with your hands, or some of you will hold with the elbows. Some of you might take more of this shape, whatever is the most comfortable in your body. Keep the foot, the right foot active. Press out through your heel. And then we'll take a little rock. Rock the leg, baby. Few possibilities here. Right shin in front of the left shin for Sukhasana. You could do right knee on top of the left knee for Gomukhasana. Any pose that's kind of like that, go ahead and take it. Lift the hips for a second, pull back and come down. Slide the hands up here into the thumbs in the hip crease. Press down to lift up. And then maybe take a forward fold. Hands could stay in the hip creases, or you could stretch the arms out. Depending on how low you are, it might feel nice to support the forehead, either with the block or with the arms like this. You want to add in a little rock side to side, that's an option too. All right, friends. Start to come back up to center. Aww. Let's change the legs and starting with the twist. So the right knee's down on the floor, left leg is like this or like this. And it might be different on the second slide. Let's turn to your left arm behind you, either right elbow outside the thigh or hand to the knee or the shin. Press down to lift up. Inhale, we're long. Exhale, we twist maybe a little deeper. Right, friends, let's keep the legs the same. Unwind and just lean over to the other side for a second. Bring yourself upright and we'll take this arm position. And at first, just move any which way. You know. It's fine if everything moves here, not a big deal. And then let's pause here, sit up tall and try to draw the shin across. If it doesn't go all the way across, just whatever angle you've got is fine. And we'll take a little rock. You can take any hand hold, any arm hold, it's fine. And then pausing here, putting either the left shin in front or the left leg on top, depending on what pose you're doing. Lift the hips, pull them back, come down. Thumbs in the hip crease, press down, lift up. And then you choose if you're hinging forward, if the arms are stretching out, if you're putting your forehead on something. Check in with your body and your breath. Ready, start to bring yourself upright. And gently stretch out the legs. Might feel good to give them a little wiggle or a little shake. That's what I need to do here. All right, friends, so we're heading down onto the floor, into your back. After the forward folds that we just took, it might feel good to do a few windshield wipers or any sort of something, maybe some bridges to open up a little through the front of the hips. So take whatever you need there. And we'll head into Shavasana. If it feels good for you to take a thigh press or anything symmetrical before getting there, go ahead and do that on your own. Yeah. And as you begin to settle in, let all the work be done. We did a lot, especially around the hips. You can relax all around this area, relax the belly. Don't go any holding or tension in your face. Begin to deepen your breath. Take any kind of movement anywhere in the body. A little stretch. Whenever you're ready, let the knees bend. Roll to one side. There, take your time to come up to sit. Meet with hands at heart center. In your body here for everything that it's able to do. Yourself. Being here. Namaste.